Here's another great way to make an outstanding loom hook. Here is another episode in my endless quest for the perfect tool. The one nearest to me, right here, is a good old store-bought loom tool, quite nice. This is the one Jack made for me out of a really nice ink pen, minus the works, and a finishing nail. And we have a movie on that in case that interests you. Because I am always setting down my loom tool and it slips between the sofa cushions, I thought it'd be great to have one that attaches to a necklace. This is really the setup for interchangeable crochet hooks. And we made a nice video of making this tool, which has been a great success, forming it around a purchased loom hook and making it fit into the crochet hook receptacle. And here is the newest member of the family. We upped our game a little bit. This is also an interchangeable crochet hook setup. This is the stiletto used to make the tool. I obtained it from an eBay seller. It usually is part of a set such as the one pictured that is for interchangeable crochet hooks. But seam rippers and needle threaders are also available options, as is the stiletto. This actually was made to fit a crochet hook interchangeable handle. So the attachment is more precise than anything that we could do with epoxy putty, which is how this one was done. The downside of this is this metal had to be heated in order to bend adequately, and it is unavoidably stained. That's not carbon, that is chromatic aberration in the metal. However, it works fine and it's smooth to the touch, so I think we can live with the cosmetic issue. Jack did this with a mini torch coming right up. To do this, you need one hand to hold the part that we're going to bend, one hand to hold the end of the tool, and that hand doesn't need to get hot from the torch, and one hand to hold the torch itself. And you will note that's 3 hands, more than most of us have. So Jack put the end of the stiletto tool, the part that would slide into the crochet hook handle, into a nut driver to hold it, and was able to prop that on his wrist, use the same hand as the wrist to use the torch, and heat up the area that we want to bend. It was his assessment that simply trying to bend this stiletto with pliers would more likely break it than bend it neatly, but that heating it would allow it to bend, and in fact, it did work. We thought for a while it wasn't going to be enough heat to bend it, but look, there it goes. At this point, when you saw it bend, Jack was applying a small amount of pressure with the needle nose pliers. We turned off the torch, took a minute off camera to compare it with other loom hooks, and decided the bend was almost but not quite perfect, so we came back to bend it a little bit more. And there we go. Okie dokie, thank you. The angle is very, very similar to the purchased loom tool now. Here's a good view of the discoloration I mentioned. I used a small, inexpensive flat file to smooth a little rough spot that I don't know if it arrived that way or if we marked it a little bit holding it with pliers, but it worked fine smoothing it off. So it looks like I'm ready to try knitting. There's a project in progress on this loom, but I'm going to use the open pegs, try the double E wrap cast on, and that's working very nicely. One thing I'm already noticing is that the mechanical advantage of this tine is a little bit more than the classic loom tool. So if you were working with bulky things, that would really be quite a help. In this case, I'm using worsted weight yarn, and it's helpful but not essential, but I can feel that it's got a little bit more power because of a somewhat thicker tine than a purchased loom tool, and yet it's slim enough it's not in the way. This is a Kiss loom, by the way, if you're not familiar with this kind of knitting loom. It has pins and pegs helping us to space the stitches perfectly evenly is what that's about. But boy, is this knitting over nicely. If you want to give this a try, the sets that you can use are available on both eBay and Etsy. I found the handles used here on Etsy. I bought the stiletto and a needle threader head from an eBay seller. This is something woodworkers make and offer for sale.